When Quang hears his newborn cry, his hands start shaking, because one wrong move could scare Linda and the baby at the same time. Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today, we'll step into Quang and Linda's very first day at home with their baby, where a diaper change, a simple bottle, and one deep breath can decide whether a family falls apart or holds on tighter. If you enjoy this story, please subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Morning arrives without ceremony. No alarm, no rush, just the thin, persistent noises of a newborn testing her lungs and her world. Pale sunlight slips through the curtains and lands on the living room couch where Linda sits half upright, a folded blanket behind her back. Her eyes look like they've been opened and closed 100 times through the night. The baby lies in the crook of her arm, warm and heavy in that tiny way that makes everything else feel big. Linda rocks by inches. It's a rhythm her body learned fast. In the kitchen, Quang moves like a man trying not to wake a sleeping house, except the house is already awake. He rinses a bottle, checks the water temperature with his wrist, then checks again. Every few seconds, he looks toward the couch, searching Linda's face for a cue. "You're up," Linda whispers. "I've been up," Quang whispers back, voice rough. "I'm on duty." The baby's face scrunches. A small warning sound escapes. Not quite a cry, more like a complaint forming. Quang freezes mid-step with the bottle. Linda watches him with calm eyes. "She's okay," Linda says. "She's just telling us something." Quang sets the bottle down and leans over the baby with the seriousness of a man inspecting something precious. "Diaper?" he asks. Linda nods. "Yes." Quang exhales, almost relieved to have a clear problem. "Okay, I can do that." He pulls the changing pad onto the coffee table, lines up wipes and a clean diaper the way he did last night. Everything is neat, like order can stand in for confidence. Linda shifts the baby and holds her out. "Support her neck, right here." Quang slides his forearm under the baby's head, careful and stiff. The baby's eyes blink open, unfocused and dark. Quang stares as if the gaze has weight. "She's so tiny," he whispers. "She's tougher than she looks," Linda replies. Quang lays the baby on the pad. His hands hover, unsure. He opens the diaper tabs. The small ripping sound feels loud. The baby kicks once. Quang flinches. "It's okay," Linda murmurs. "Just go slow." He folds the dirty diaper inward, reaches for a wipe, then pauses. "Wipes are cold," Linda says. "Be gentle and talk to her. Your voice helps." Quang looks down. "Hi," he says, barely audible. "It's Dad. We're fixing things." Linda lets out a quiet breath of a laugh. "Don't make it sound like a car." "I don't know what I'm doing," Quang admits. "You're doing it," Linda corrects. Quang wipes carefully. The baby lets out a sharp cry, sudden enough to tighten his shoulders. His hands stop. "I'm hurting her," he says, panic in his eyes. Linda leans in and places her hand over his, warm and firm. "No, she doesn't like it. That's different. Finish, then comfort her." Quang swallows. He takes a slow breath, the kind Linda taught him when worry tried to take over. He wipes once more, slides the clean diaper under and fumbles with the tabs. One sticks wrong. He tries again, then finally secures it. He looks up. Too tight. Linda checks with 2 fingers. Perfect. Quang releases a breath like he's been holding it all night. The baby's cry softens into smaller, offended sounds. Quang lifts her, tucking her against his chest. His shirt is warm. He starts rocking without being told. "See?" Linda whispers. "You did it." Quang looks down at the baby, then back at Linda. "I did," he says like he needs to hear himself say it. Linda shifts, easing a soreness she won't name. "Now the bottle," she says. "She'll settle." Quang tests the temperature again. He brings it to the baby's mouth, but the angle is wrong. Milk dribbles at the corner and guilt flickers across his face. Linda adjusts his wrist. "Higher. Support her head. Slow." Quang follows. The baby latches and begins to drink, small, determined pulls that quiet the room. Quang watches as if he's been given something he didn't know he deserved. Linda's eyelids droop. She isn't asleep, but her body tries. She leans back, listening to the steady rhythm of the baby drinking and Quang's careful breathing. "Did you sleep?" Quang asks. "A little," Linda answers. "In pieces." Quang nods. "I kept listening. Every sound, I thought, what if I missed something important?" Linda opens her eyes. "You won't. You're here." Quang doesn't reach for big words. He simply adjusts the blanket around the baby's legs, covering her feet. A phone buzzes from the dining table. Quang glances over, reluctant to break the moment. "My sister wants to come by," he murmurs after a quick look. "To help." Linda's mouth curves, tired but amused. "Help means holding the baby while I pretend I'm okay." Quang's face softens. "Do you want quiet today?" Linda looks at the baby drinking, at Quang holding the bottle with both hands like he's afraid of spilling more than milk. "Yes," she says, "just us today." Quang types a short message and sets the phone face down, as if closing a door gently. The baby pauses, releases the bottle, and hiccups. Quang pats her back with a stiff rhythm, unsure. Linda guides him with 2 fingers, slower and softer. "Like this," she whispers. Quang mirrors the motion. The baby gives a tiny burp, polite and brief. Quang's eyes widen, surprised by how simple it can be. "That's it," Linda says, smiling. Quang brings the baby to his shoulder. Her head rests under his jaw and his posture eases, becoming less rigid. He rocks in small steps across the rug, barely moving. Linda watches him and feels something settle. Not certainty, just reassurance. She reaches for a small notebook and pen, flips it open, and holds it out. "We'll write down feeding times," she says, "so we don't guess." Quang takes the pen and looks at the clock. He prints the time carefully, each number deliberate. Then he glances at Linda, checking her face. Linda gives him a small nod. Good. The house stays still. Outside, a bird calls once and quiets again. Inside, there is the baby's warm weight against Quang, the soft scratch of pen on paper, and the quiet work of becoming a family. Quang keeps walking until the baby's eyelids flutter and finally stay closed. He lowers himself into the armchair with a care that feels almost formal, then sits very still, afraid to break whatever fragile peace he's earned. Across from him, Linda shifts on the couch. She drinks water in slow sips, as if her body needs to be reminded it can receive something without giving anything back. The room is quiet except for the baby's breathing and the soft creak of Quang settling into the chair. "You can put her in the bassinet," Linda whispers. Quang barely moves his head. "Not yet. I'm enjoying this part." Linda's eyes soften. "Okay, just keep her neck supported." He tightens his forearm gently under the baby's head and looks down at her with the focused stare of someone memorizing a face he never wants to forget. A phone buzzes from the table. Then again. Quang ignores it, but the third vibration feels like a small insistence in the air. "In case it's important," Linda murmurs. Quang reaches for the phone with one hand, careful not to jostle the baby. He glances at the screen and exhales. "Lon," he says, "from work." Linda gives a small nod. "Answer, low voice." Quang steps into the kitchen. "Lon," he says softly, "tell me." Linda can't hear the other side, but she sees Quang's shoulders rise, then fall. "No, I'm not coming in today," he says. "I'm with my family. If something is truly urgent, send it by message. Otherwise, it can wait." He listens again. "Yes, the baby's healthy. Linda's recovering. Thank you." A pause. "And no visitors today," Quang adds, gentle but firm. "We'll let you know when we're ready." He ends the call and returns, slipping the phone into his pocket like it's something he doesn't want near the baby. "She was just being Lan," Linda says. Quang sits back down. "I told her I'm unavailable." Linda studies him. "You said it easily." Quang lets out a short breath. "It wasn't easy. It was clear." Linda shifts, hiding a small wince too late. Quang notices. "Pain?" he asks. "Not pain," Linda answers. "Just slow, like my body is catching up." Quang's jaw tightens. "Do you need anything?" "Time," Linda says, voice soft. "And water. And someone who doesn't panic." Quang looks down at the baby. "I'm trying." "I know," Linda says. "That's why I'm calm." The baby makes a tiny squeak in her sleep. Quang adjusts his hold without looking, already learning her shape. "Are you hungry?" he asks. "A little," Linda says. Quang nods and goes to the kitchen. He opens the fridge, then returns with something simple. Rice warmed into porridge, a bit of ginger, one beaten egg stirred through for softness. He brings a small bowl to Linda and sets a napkin under it, as if the napkin is a promise. "Hot," he warns. Linda takes a spoonful. The warmth spreads and her shoulders drop a fraction. "Good," she says. Quang eats a few bites standing, then sits on the ottoman near her, the baby still against his chest. They don't talk much while they eat. It isn't distance, it's conserving energy and choosing peace. When Linda sets her bowl aside, she looks at the bassinet. "Can you put her down now?" Quang hesitates. "If she wakes." "She might," Linda says. "And then we handle it." Quang walks to the bassinet and lowers the baby with exaggerated gentleness. For a second, she stays asleep. Quang holds his breath. Then her nose wrinkles. A small protest sound escapes, more offended than afraid. Quang's shoulders rise. "See?" Linda lifts a finger. "Wait, 10 seconds." Quang freezes, hands hovering. The baby's protest wobbles, fades into a grunt and quiets. She kicks once and settles. Quang blinks. "That worked." Linda's mouth curves. Sometimes they just need to complain, like adults. A quiet laugh slips out of him, surprised and relieved. He returns and sits beside Linda, close enough that their knees touch. "I feel like I'm doing everything wrong," he admits. "You're doing new things," Linda replies. "That's not the same." Quang stares at the bassinet. "Last night when she cried, it felt like something grabbed my chest, like I couldn't breathe until she stopped." Linda nods slowly. "That's the love. It's not polite." Quang looks at her. "It's terrifying." Linda reaches for his hand. Her fingers are warm, a little shaky from fatigue, but sure. "You don't have to be perfect," she says. "You just have to keep showing up." Quang interlaces their fingers and holds on like he's learning what steady means. His phone pings again. Quang flinches, then checks it. "My mother," he says. Linda's expression changes. No drama, just awareness. "What does she say?" Quang reads, then sighs. "She wants to come. She'll bring soup." Linda thinks for a beat. "Soup sounds nice. Today doesn't." Quang nods. He types slowly. "Tomorrow," he murmurs. "Short visit." He sends the message and sets the phone down, then looks at Linda as if asking whether he did it right. "You did," Linda says. The rest of the day is made of small tasks. Quang rinses bottles and folds a few baby clothes. Linda rests in short stretches, waking to check the bassinet, then closing her eyes again when she sees the baby quiet. As evening comes, the baby wakes hungry. Quang prepares the bottle without asking this time, testing the temperature once. He holds her more naturally. When she fusses, he doesn't freeze. "I hear you," he murmurs. "I'm right here." The baby drinks, then sighs. Quang pats her back, slow and steady, and a tiny burp escapes. He looks at Linda with quiet pride, like he's afraid to celebrate too loudly. Linda smiles, small and real. "Good job, Dad." Quang's eyes soften. "Say it again," he jokes, gentle. Night settles. Quang keeps a warm lamp on. Linda changes into a loose shirt, moving carefully. Quang lays her towel and water within reach without being asked. "Can you sleep?" he asks. "I can try," Linda answers. "I'll take first shift," Quang says. Linda searches his face. "You need sleep, too." "I'll sleep when you sleep," he says, and when she lets us. Linda lifts her hand to his cheek. She touches him there, not as praise, just as contact. "Thank you," she whispers. Quang leans into her palm for 1 second, then lifts the baby and settles into the rocking chair near the bed. The baby's breathing steadies against his chest. Quang rocks in small, patient motions, eyes heavy but present. Linda lies back. In the soft light, she reaches out and rests her hand on his knee. Quang covers her hand with his free one, and they stay like that, quiet, tired, learning a new life by doing it.
Xin chào. Trong cái lạnh cắt da của vùng cao, Linda lủi thủi một mình trên nương sắn, quanh quẩn với đàn gà, đàn vịt, căn nhà sàn cũ kỹ. Lòng lúc nào cũng thấy cô đơn, mặc cảm và bị cảm giác bị bỏ rơi. Đúng lúc đó Quang trở về, lo lắng dặn cô không được đi vào những nơi vực sâu nguy hiểm và hứa sẽ bù đắp cho những thiếu thốn của cô. Vài ngày sau, Quang cùng người khiêng lên một chiếc tủ gỗ lớn, chắc chắn đặt giữa căn nhà sàn, giúp Linda lần đầu được treo gọn quần áo, chăn màn như một người thực sự có nhà. Anh xin nghỉ làm, ở lại chăm sóc, cùng nấu ăn với cô, chẻ củi, trò chuyện mỗi tối. Chiếc tủ mới dần trở thành biểu tượng cho tương lai vững chắc và sợi dây gắn kết âm thầm giữa hai người. Mọi người hãy like, share và subscribe để ủng hộ giúp mình nhé.